Hi, I'm John Tafoya. I'm professor of percussion at Indiana University Jacobs School of Music. And I'm happy to be here at the Zildjian factory as part of Zildjian Score magazine. When I served as principal timpanist with the National Symphony Orchestra in Washington, D.C., I had many friends who performed in the military bands there. And the United States President's own Marine Band would have auditions every several years. And part of the audition process included a cymbal etude that was a sight-reading etude. And when you think about it, people who are taking auditions, you're working so much on the really difficult excerpts, Scheherazade, Porgy and Bess, and those people would get ushered into the finals and they would have to perform this particular cymbal etude, which basically brought out several technical and musical components. I thought what I'd do is I'd play this etude and then talk about some basic techniques that you should think about when you're playing something like this. So again, this etude brings out some basic issues of sound. And when I was taught how to play cymbals, the idea really was to create a natural occurring sound, not to force the cymbals. So in other words, if someone is really putting a lot of force on that top cymbal, the sound might sound pretty harsh. So when I'm playing cymbals, the first thing I'm trying to do literally is drop the top cymbal as the bottom cymbal is coming up. And the bottom cymbal will have some kind of an angle to it, like this. So again, the idea is not to put so much force with the top cymbal coming down, but rather the bottom cymbal comes up on an angle. Now to do that and to be aware of where the angles are, you can play a little game. And you can try to basically close up the cymbals so they fit together without making any kind of sound. And as you're doing this, if you're aware of one area, so I'll do this on purpose, I'll do the bottom end too soon. And you can hear that. So I know that I need to make an adjustment on the bottom cymbal, so that there's very little sound when the cymbals are being placed together. So really know where your edges are on the cymbals. So when you're working on these basic cymbal crashes, also think about the offset, which is the distance between the top cymbal edge and the bottom cymbal edge. Many orchestral cymbal players have some kind of offset when they play. And generally for louder crashes, the offset could be an inch and a half, maybe even as much as 2 inches in distance. A lot of the good players that I've seen over the years have a pretty noticeable offset, at least an inch or so. And then when they play softer, they might change that just a little bit. But certainly for a louder crash, and this guarantees no suction cup sound. And for loud crashes, it's pretty good idea to have at least an inch or so of that offset. So a lot of what we do as performers in the percussion section of an orchestra is when we're learning a new piece of music and we're interpreting the part. And this might mean playing the notes a little differently than what they look like on the page. And how do you determine that? Well, basically you want to listen to several recordings, get an idea of what the piece sounds like, and as you're listening to this piece, you might discover that perhaps a quarter note is very, very short. It's shorter than what it looks like on the page. So these kind of interpretive things are things that you need to do before the very first rehearsal. So the idea really is to listen, get an idea of the sound that would be appropriate, and adjust dynamics if that's necessary. In other words, if the part says fortissimo, but you know that if you took that dynamic literally, it would be too loud. So you make those kind of adjustments when you're playing and when you're preparing an orchestral cymbal part.